dealing with its own dispute. This time, the AmaZulu King MisuZulu KaZwelithini has fired his traditional Prime Minister, that's Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi. Buthelezi, who's also the KZN Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs MEC, was appointed after the death of his father, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, who served three kings over many decades. For more on this, I'm joined by Dr. Mphumeleli Ngidi, who's a UKZN historian. Dr. Ngidi, good to have you on the program this evening. So firstly, the King's decision to dismiss Thulasizwe Buthelezi, it has raised some eyebrows. What do you think this means for the overall stability of the Zulu monarchy, especially considering the long-standing influence that Buthelezi has had?
Yes, good evening to the listeners and the viewers at home. The removal of the Prime Minister has indicated some or raised some eyebrows within the Zulu monarchy and the Zulu nation. The king is the custodian of culture and customs and the spiritual and symbolic leader of the Zulu nation. He has a duty to appoint the traditional Prime Minister Undunankulu, and also it is also within the powers of the king to dethrone or to remove the traditional Prime Minister from the role. That can emanate from a variety of issues, because the Prime Minister and the king, they have to work hand in hand on a daily basis.
Right.
So the role of the Prime Minister is very important. So if the king observes that there are responsibilities that the Prime Minister is not fulfilling, it is within his powers to remove the Prime Minister.
Dr. Ngidi, do you see this decision also as an indication of how the monarchy is evolving, if you will, in its approach to handling internal disputes and also these leadership dynamics? To put it more pointedly, is this a sign of a more assertive leadership style, at least from your take?
Yes, we can say ngeke sisho ukuthi umlando uyaziphinda, because this seems to be the first time whereby we see a traditional Prime Minister being fired from the position.
Yeah.
We've had there were cases during the reign of King Bande, but the traditional Prime Minister was not necessarily fired, but was shifted due to the conditions that were happening. So we are seeing new dynamics in the Zulu kingdom that we've not seen before, that are unprecedented. And we really don't know where this is taking us to. But what we can say is that it's the first time that we are seeing this. And the king, as I've said, has the duty to protect the land and the affairs of the Zulu kingdom. If he observed that the traditional Prime Minister is no longer suitable for the position, it is upon him and his entourage to dethrone the traditional Prime Minister. We understand that there may be some political dynamics that are happening, but we are speculating that ukuthi kukhona okwepolitiki okwenzakalayo. Esikwaziyo njengamanje ukuthi uThulasizwe Buthelezi uphumile as undunankulu wesizwe samaZulu.
Dr. Ngidi, with the Zulu nation also in the midst of the Umkhosi celebrations, how do you think the King's decision will be received, especially by his people, and also especially given the cultural significance of this time?
Yes, the decision will be met or be received by a myriad of interpretations. There are different interpretations of it. There are those who favor it, and there are those who are going to question it. And we understand that with the upcoming ceremonies that are in place in the new year, we understand that the traditional prime minister have to be there as the role. One of the roles of the traditional prime minister is to precede the king whenever he has to make the public appearance. So now without the traditional prime minister in place, people are waiting to see what is going to happen or who is going to fill that position, because the fact of the matter is the affairs of the Zulu kingdom cannot continue for a lengthy period without the presence of a traditional prime minister.
Yeah. Dr. Ngidi, of course, there have been other developments as well, and maybe let me probe you on this one. The suspension of senior executives of the Ingonyama Trust Board, this is another move that seems to be a bold move, if you will. What do you think this decision signals, especially about the King's commitment to accountability and the transparency within the Zulu leadership structure?
The King, also with Ingonyama Trust, he's the sole trustee of the Ingonyama Trust Board. But we do understand that Ingonyama Trust Board was formed through an act, so the government is involved, and there are a variety or a number of people who are in the board, who are there doing different duties. So it also signals that if the king ukhona akubonayo ongahambi kahle, uyama athi angithandi lokuthi kwenzeke, ngoba the trust or the board is not for him but for the entire Zulu nation. It may happen that there are discrepancies that the king has observed, or there are people who are not fulfilling their duties and responsibilities, or there's some kind of mismanagement within the trust. So to protect the trust and also the Zulu kingdom, the king, of which I am of the insinuation that it does not take these decisions alone. There's the family. There's also the people, other people who are involved, whom I would just call the entourage. So I believe that they sit down and decide. So what seems to be happening is that now there are cabals within the Zulu kingdom who are taking these decisions. But if they are the right decisions for the kingdom, then so be it.
Babungiti, as we wrap up our conversation, how do you think the public will view the King's actions, especially in terms of restoring governance and transparency within the AmaZulu nation? Could this move enhance the monarchy's reputation, in your view, or is there a risk of alienating certain factions?
Kukhona abazovumelana naye, abazovumelana nesilo, bathi ungangezo lakhe wenza kahle uma kukhona ngakuboni kahle. Bese kuba khona abazophikisana nako ukuthi why enza lo enza ngalendlela azobe enza ngayo. Sinako samaZulu, isizwe samaZulu ukuthi ungumlomo ongathethi imanga. Kodwa futhi sinako futhi ukuthi inkosi iyahletshwa. That's why there will be different interpretations into the matter. Some will support it, and some will not concur with the decisions by the king, and some will quote political influence and claim that this is politically motivated.
Yeah.
There is kunezinto ezenzakalayo ngaphakathi, but I think the political analysts and those who are involved in the political fraternity can substantiate on that one.
Dr. Ngidi, thank you so much for unpacking these important developments with us today, really giving us insights on the complexities of the leadership of the AmaZulu nation, and of course also reacting to news of the sacking of the AmaZulu Prime Minister Thulasizwe Buthelezi.